Hey everybody, welcome to Unlimited Railworks. This time, the monthly check-in where we talk about a dang show that we watched. I'm your host, Rose, and with me is everyone. Everyone being Elvie. John.
Shabada. Shabada-doo-doo.
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. I'll redo this. Elvie, which of those three do you relate to the most?
Like which tone, which moment in the Shabada?
The three of them. There's what? There's
the
sexy.
the trio. I feel like I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Whoa.
Okay. I figured John was just claiming sexy right there.
No, I was just saying the word. But,
Okay. Well, then fine. Then we'll save it for later then.
We'll find out.
Maverick's also here.
That I am.
I'm glad for it.
I don't know. I was gonna say something about this hetero approves.
Yuri approved. Well, you have to be able to do it, right? That's sort of the whole. We need the neutral third party.
Yeah, no, bring me in there, and I'll just be like, all right, let's keep it civil. Freaking bears and humans over here. Bears and ladies.
Are you in the Are you in the court? Are you part of that council?
I'm keeping the peace. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to make sense of all this.
Okay, you're probably like a transcriber. You know, you're like on the side with a typewriter.
It's really funny that it's just like the baby just shows up.
Yeah.
We make and that's what she's mad about, that goddamn baby.
We are talking, of course, about our assigned show, Yurikuma Arashi, which was a Patreon pick by James Tarr, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
this one, James.
This is like the third time I've watched this one. It's a hell of a program. I don't even know how to describe it. It's an Ukihara joint, so you should probably get the general conceit there. Though, Maverick, you were saying that you haven't seen one of these before, which is crazy to me.
Not if you were somehow even further in the dark of who is Ikihara? Basically, the guy who not only was responsible for a good run of Sailor Moon, but also Revolutionary Girl Utena, Sarazanmai,
Penguin
what
Drum
else?
is the big one, right?
Penguin Drum, yeah. Penguin Drum and all that. Just very bombastic of a writer, director, I would say. And definitely has his own style at this point, and is also just it's funny thinking about a Yuri grandmaster, so to say. But I feel like if I were to ask people who the equivalent of that would be, Ikihara would at least be in the running of that conversation.
Honestly, just I would say the LGBT in general.
Yeah, which again, I feel like that's always something that might come up in conversation. I have no idea what Ikihara's own personal stance on gender and sexuality they carry, but it just feels like watching this show, at least I saw it and it's I get that there's a layer that I know is not for me, but then there's also an attempt to try and get people like me still invested. It was very fascinating of a watch, I'll say.
I would say I was very surprised when you told me, because it does. Penguin Drum seems like the type of show you would have seen.
Right? Yeah, no, probably. That seems like the one.
Very your style.
I mean, God, I think I saw it playing, for a minute at, the times I've been in, Owls over in Seattle. Someone was just playing it, and I'm like, oh, that seems like a lot. But nah, it just never... Yeah, never came through. Never was just, the thing I sat down to get through. I think at some point I wanted to get into Sarazanmai, but I just never like started it.
The way I've always felt with those is that they are all shows that I, reading about them after the fact, was like, oh yeah, I probably should have checked this out before, but then I always needed someone to force me to. Like, I needed someone to force me to watch Utena. I needed someone to force me to watch Penguin Drum. I needed someone to force me to watch Yurikuma like 10 years ago or whatever. Otherwise, it was just too intimidating almost, in a sense. Of like, I'll have to really be thinking. But I don't even think that's necessarily true. I think they're pretty straightforward works as far as it goes, though they are wrapped in their metaphors and such.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I always thought Utena was impenetrable, and then it's like, no, it's the goofiest show you've ever seen. They fight a fucking kangaroo. Actually, now that I say that, I don't actually. I assume LV has seen all of these just because of the nature of LV as a person.
Yes.
But John, have you seen any other Ikuhara shows at all?
Yeah, no, I saw Sarazanmai while it was airing.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Right. I remember we had those conversations and everything.
Yeah, we talked
Because
about it.
I think
on
you and
here.
Trixie were watching it.
Which I thought was okay, but definitely
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been better if it was like a movie or an OVA, because I just think that there were too many episodes that didn't really move anything forward.
That middle part, especially, was really
Yeah.
like, all right.
Bit much there.
But yeah, we're here. You know, Yurikuma is the topic here. So that was what we watched, and you know, let me tell you, watching this the third time, it's like, you know, I remember the first time I watched it, I was a little more confused about things because I think I was watching it really far apart from each other. So this time I had like really, you know, sat down and was like, I'm going to watch like the last half all in one go. So I sort of did that, and I don't think it's actually that confusing at all. I think it was pretty like, I think the moments that are confusing are intentionally so, and then they just sort of rectify it almost immediately in the next episode. So I bet watching week to week might have been a little bit of a nightmare, but I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty blatant with what it's trying to say with regards to lesbians and sexuality and such, but I still thought it was fun to revisit it now that I'm older, I think, especially because I had seen it when I think last time I watched it twice, but at both times when I was like 19 and 20, I think, so. Bit more perspective on the world. But I'm curious what you thought of it, John. You know, why don't I start with you? I feel like I rarely start with you here.
I mean, all right. Let me think. So I pretty much watched it all in one go, because I kept forgetting to. But I thought it was pretty decent. I started off not really being that into it, but I feel like once episode 4 hit and they started to like give context to what was going on and gave more layers to the characters, I started to enjoy it a lot more. Because the first 3 episodes were just kind of like setting up the world, and it was very just like, at a certain point I was just like, I get it, it's lesbians, like,
Yeah, you know, now that
not to be too mean, not to be
about. No, it's fine.
no, I'm specifically not to be too mean, but the lilies in this show, calm down a little bit. I get it. That's the lesbian flower. I get it. But it's like every other shot in this fucking show is a lily. Like, straight up. I'm like, I get it, y'all.
I realized that I didn't give a good description of what this is. I just sort of talked about Ikuhara.
Yeah, please, because how do you
explain this?
that first like 3 episodes where it is setting up everything. It's just kind of like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
So-
that's what this is.
This is an adaptation of a manga, or I think the anime came out first, actually. But the manga is really different in a way, and went like in a different direction. But this is more like classic Ikuhara style, metaphorical, elaborate set. I would, for lack of a better analogy, like Shaft-like in its presentation to an extent.
See that?
of just a lot of conversations and cutting between scenery and stuff like that while they have conversations. Though there is the bombast that Ikuhara tends to lean towards, but it's about this. Hey, there's bears, and there was a war between bears and people. This is I don't even know how to explain it. The bears live on the other side of this wall called the Wall of Severance, and the main plot of this is basically like two bears go across that wall because they have a goal. One of the bears wants to find her true love on the other side of the wall. So then all sorts of things ensue with people trying to kill the bears. It's all, basically, for lack of a better explanation, it's all a metaphor for like lesbians in society. Things like having to be invisible, coming out, the nature of like what is acceptable, or like how do you tread that wall of being treated as unacceptable. And it's a real thing. I don't really know how to get into all of it, but it's very fixated on this idea of, it's in the damn name, Yurikuma.
It's in almost
I like
everybody's
Wikipedia
name.
says translated lesbian bear storm, which is true, I suppose. It's Yurikuma Arashi, but it's just a lot of metaphor, basically, for lack of a better. It's a lot of like, hey, like, oh, it's bad to be a bear, and the exclusions, everything. I don't even know how to talk about all of it, honestly.
I kind of feel like it gets a little lost in the metaphor at times.
Sure, yeah.
At some point,
because it gets kind of confused about what it's trying to say with what analogy and metaphor and stuff like that.
I think, like, ultimately, or you know what, John, you start it.
Yeah. It's just more. I like, as I was sitting there and watching it, I'm just kind of like, I absolutely get what you're saying, but there's just all this like weird like overlap, and I think that they're trying to have some try to have like a little bit of a talk about like, there's lesbians, or there's like LGBTQ people who will like undermine others because they'll like kind of they'll try to force other people back in the closet because they think that's what's right.
Yeah, and like that's watching, etc.
Yeah, like that if I feel like that was something that was kind of trying to be said, but like there's also points where it's just like, these bears are killing people, and I understand that like part of it is supposed to be like, again, it's there's metaphors and all that, but I don't know, it's just like, I feel like there's just this like underlying layer of just like, I understand what you're trying to say, and I'm not gonna like say that what you're saying is wrong, but I'm also just like looking at it at like, if you look at this show like straight on in any way, it like pretty much falls apart. I think like you just have to be fully invested in it just being a metaphor. You have to know it's a metaphor and just never look at it in any other way again, because
yeah, sure,
if you look at it from just like, hey, here's these like bears and they're showing up and eating people, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense why people are scared of them. That makes sense why people would want to like get them out of, if they're trying to infiltrate their schools and trying to, just randomly kill people. Yeah, that makes sense that they would want to find them and get them out of there. But when you do think about it as the metaphor of just like, yeah, these are supposed to be, lesbians trying to not have to hide who they are and be able to interact with other lesbians and find each other out in the world and not be stifled by what other people expect of them, like, that makes it make sense. Like, you have to look at it with the metaphor in mind. But then there's just all these other aspects of the story, like, as it continues to go on, like, as they build the drama, where, again, I just think it gets a little lost in it because they have to make it be this dramatic thing while also continuing to be about bears that eat people.
Yeah, I agree that I think like specifically when you compare it to those other works, although Sarazanmai kind of has the same problem to an extent. The other works do work on a more base structural level, almost.
Yeah.
Like they work outside or they work to bolster the metaphor more than anything. Like Utena itself, like, you know, is utilizing the traditional shoujo structures and stuff like that to do its own thing.
Right.
And honestly, Penguin Drum is basically just a normal drama when it comes down to it. But this is a lot more like, yeah, like it's flowery, right? Like I feel like that's the main thing.
Yes.
Like it's a very flowery thing. Not even including what you were saying earlier about there being too many damn flowers. But maybe that's true in another sense, right? Like maybe at times it is too flowery for its own good, but ultimately it does deliver. Like, I think it's interesting to think about the different kinds of art you can make and how, like, even if something fails in one ways, it works to create the image of another.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean,
like
it's a really gorgeous looking show. It's really nice.
And all of that just works in service of making it be able to look more gorgeous in a way and like represent this ideology, if not fully like explaining it all the way. Sort of thing. That's what I thought was interesting when I was watching this. And I do agree with you on that as well when I was watching it, because I was like, especially like you were saying, honestly, the first few episodes, I think that's why I was so like, what the hell's going on when I was young? Because it's like watching like the first 3 episodes and then maybe like watch like one episode and then one episode like weeks apart with like a girlfriend or a friend group or something. And it's like, it's very easy to become detached from it all when you're not immersed in it.
Yeah, that was something that I was thinking about, like, as I was watching this. Like, I was like, man, did I just make the right call, like, binging this? Because, like, I was just sitting there, like, yeah, if I, like, forgot any aspect of this, like, so much of this show is, like, revisiting things that they introduce in earlier episodes, which is fine, but, like, it's so much of like the quality of the show hangs on the fact that you remember everything, because if you don't remember everything, you will lose the metaphor and it'll just be like, what did they do? Why are they do? What? Huh? Who's this? What? There's just a bunch of characters, and then it's like, oh, but she's actually a bear. She's actually a bear. Who's this character? They just introduced her, but she's actually a bear. It's just like, I don't know. It's weird. And again, I also just it also feels like, you know, it's at some points, like, again, like, I understand the aspects of, you know, trying to bring up pink washing and stuff like that. But there are other points where I'm just like, I don't understand why this person is trying to, like, be traitorous for or against the bears, like, because it's, I don't know, maybe it's not supposed to make sense because, you know, being a, you know, undermining your own sexuality doesn't make sense. So maybe that's kind of the point.
I think that's what it is in a lot of cases. But I think I would say the one thing near the end, when I feel like the stuff they do with Ginkgo right towards the end is a little like, I don't really know why you're doing this. I feel like this is a weird subplot that you had maybe greater ambitions for.
Yeah, definitely feels like that. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. You know, like I probably won't watch it again, but I'm definitely someone who's like, yeah, I get it. I get why people have a fondness for it. I mean,
you sat and listened.
I sat my white straight ass down and listened to the bears as they bit each other on the feet.
I didn't like that. I will say that. I still don't like that after all these years.
That was too far.
It's too far for me. Everything else is fine. The killing, that whatever. I don't care. The eating, normal. Not that. I don't. That and their obsession with pouring honey over each other. It's get real.
Yeah, that's just...
Listen, I'm just saying that, like, I would see one of your women tweet that. That's the thing.
Why do you think I'm so scared of it?
That's the reality. Like, I'm watching this show and it's just like, all right, which of these are... It feels like... Can I name them on here?
Yeah, I do. Like, no one's gonna stop you. They can't be protected.
Enough. Yeah, no, it's basically what if, like, Robin and Rain had a handle of Rose?
Ugh.
And I'm sure someone's made... What?
That's how you get ants.
That's how you get ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Sorry,
want
like I was
ants.
just perusing my Twitter real quick, and it's like, oh yeah, nah, this reminds me why I feel like such an expert on talking about this show. Because truly,
Yeah, you know what?
it's a show of violence, and what is, I did look a little bit, so I'm also stealing from Robin's roots here. But what is sapphic if not violence and love?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like. Yeah, the first 3 episodes are definitely a point where I'm like, am I hating this? Am I just not going to have a good time, despite the aesthetics landing for me for the most part? And then the rest of the, like, it ramps up a little bit as I'm getting interested in everything else. Like, I think it works a little better with the specific focus of love as an overall theme, where, part of it is the fact that one of the bears, Lulu, is also, like, a former princess of the bear world. Don't get too into the weeds about it, but the main thing is that, like, she had a brother who, like, everyone adored, she hated, and only until, like, him dying by accident did she realize, oh, I, like, took that for granted. Let me try and replicate that in other spaces. And I think her story helps to make a lot of this fit, where it's not only this focus of love, but more specifically, like, the ways in which people can attempt to replicate love, and more so realizing that there are, like, very specific, authentic ways that it can show. And that, like, no one form is necessarily lesser, but it's a matter of you, like, owning up to it and really just having, like, a more astute and, like, direct declaration of what that kind is. Be it platonic, be it romantic, be it, like, anything in between. You just got to be able to actually shout it out loud, which, relates to the Phantom, not the Phantom, like the Phantom Menace, the Invisible Storm. The Invisible Storm, where it's the idea of, like, oh yeah, we're friends, but you don't have to, like, you don't have to, like, say it. You don't have to, like, congrats, you're gay, but you don't have to, like, make it your whole personality. Is sort of the vibe I got, where, as Judge Sexy is spying at one point, like, there's people just getting it on in that school. And that's, like, their prerogative. But the idea is that it's sort of just, like, kept away from everything. Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, was actually a pretty smart, like, inclusion of what all of this is. Where there is a lot of focus on just, like, masking and coding. But it doesn't even have to just limit itself to the very immediate concept of, like, women on women romance, especially in relation to how it can be perceived in Japan, where, like, to my understanding, the idea is that sapphic, like, attraction is understood as part of, like, girl interaction, until the point that you have to, like, grow up, quote unquote, and find a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, it's not frowned upon to admire women, to say that, like, you love another woman, that you want to go on a date with a woman. But only at, like, once those feelings...
Can't make it weird.
Exactly. But then it's like, well, why are you, like, holding hands with me all the time? Why are you staying in bed with me all the time? Like, it's such an interesting, like, double standard, to the point where it's like, why are you surprised that there is not only material about this, like, nonfiction material about this as well? Because I'm immediately thinking about all of the Nagatakabe stories that also play into just, like, this thought of, like, there's this part of me that exists that I don't know should in society, but it kind of just is also accepted to an extent. it's interesting. Like, fucking, for my first Ikuhara show, it's definitely got me thinking more than I would have thought. But, yeah, it's, I think, messy in a way that I appreciate. Like, it's fraught, but I didn't mind the fact that a lot of it just was more so set piece, or just wanting to at least leave me with more questions than trying to answer every single thing. And if that is what Ikuhara leans more into, then I'm curious to get into the rest of, like, whatever it is that he'll do in the future, and then also plenty of what he's got coming up beforehand.
Yeah. It's been a minute, hasn't it? Is there anything really, I guess...
As far as I would say the last thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, back in, like, 2019.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot, changed their name to Bonsoir. A pseudonym for Taiko Bon Bon. Because he was... Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright. Oh, wait.
Well, that was just the Penguin Drum movies.
Right, did those come out all the way?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if all of them were out.
Oh, wait, no, I think... Well...
I think they're all out, yeah. I'm looking.
Yeah.
Crazy. I guess the Blu-rays just recently came out. Yeah, LV, what did you think about all these?
Yeah. I would say... I think like resounding what John was saying, I feel like this is the most on the nose. I think Ikuhara project, and just to be clear too, like I think it's important to like acknowledge like he always works he's always working with a different team of people with everything he has done in a way that makes sense. I think like Utena started from like his Sailor Moon colleagues. Like, again, that was, like, kind of his biggest foray into, anime, was he was someone who worked on Sailor Moon. And it makes a lot of sense now when you kind of look at the 90s anime and some of the flourishes added compared to the manga and what Crystal tried to do. He directed the gay movie between, Mamoru and this alien... Like, the first Sailor Moon movie was, like, literally... Usagi or Serena, I'm gonna say both dub and Japanese name. He apparently, again, like anime movies are always like run into this issue of like, oh, they can be like, you don't have to watch. Sometimes they're like, oh, non-canonical, or you don't have to watch them, especially for a long series. The plot explored in that is apparently this whole time Mamoru / Darien had a childhood friend who was like an alien, basically. He's like one of the, and they were like, he was in love. There was like a one-sided crush. It was very gay. That was the first Sailor Moon movie. Like, we have men on men in the first Sailor Moon movie. But yeah, that was Ikuhara's. I don't know if directorial debut, but that was his first like major work, and I have those VHS tapes. But anyway, and official too, not bootleg. Like, Sailor Moon has an interesting, weird like subsection of bootlegged physical media, especially from back then. But yeah, anyway, I digress. But yeah, like Yurikuma like is made like in conjunction with a character designer who I think also did she did the manga adaptation, which we were addressing. Is different in storyline. Akiko Morishima, who has done a lot of Yuri girls love work, and I think she herself does have a partner. I don't know if they're still together, but she herself her partner is also another woman who works in manga, and I think that's really important to acknowledge, especially in regards to like looking at the scope of this series in particular, and seeing like, okay, yeah, there's something here that might have been coming from like genuine like experience, and I think what makes Yurikuma crazier, I mean, like, Penguin Drum is not inspired is the wrong word, but Penguin Drum's big thing overarches from like a real horrible incident that happened in Japan. Yurikuma, like, which came after that, right? Am I wrong? Well, let me double check that. Actually, I might be fucking wrong with that. Oops. Yurikuma came out after that, after Penguin Drum. Yurikuma is based on this real incident where there was a bad bear attack in Japan. Like a legitimate, like a real bad bear attack, and they were like, sure, let's make something out of that. Like, I don't know, like, where's your mind to be like, wow, let's make this about lesbians.
Right.
Yeah. And, yeah, like, I this is a series that's so on the nose compared to, I think, the other Ikuhara projects. And again, like, circling back, like, I agree with John where, like, in a lot of ways that helps it work, but I also think it does overstay its welcome. You know, like, yeah, the whole thing you were saying, like, we see the lilies, we get it, we know what the lilies are. And but yeah, I agree on a level, like, aesthetically, it's amazing. It's very fun. Music's cooking. But in terms of narrative, I think it's his weakest work. I think it's his weakest work personally. Because
more than
of...
Sarazanmai?
Yeah, you're right. I know. I feel like you need to rewatch Sarazanmai, though. That's the thing.
That
I don't have a lot of...
Well, era.
my memory of Sarazanmai is not that. That could be what I need to do next, though. So maybe weakest as a stretch, but it's definitely like overshadowed by, you know, obviously Utuna and, you know, Penguin Drum just being the big ones. And I think a lot of, yeah, like, how can you compare? And I think, John, what you were getting at is, like, a big problem, especially with kind of, like, you know, the metaphors and, like, yeah, like, for instance, the one thing you brought up being, like, it's the idiosyncrasies between, like, what does a bear attacking someone mean? Is it, like, literal death? We see people are literally dying, but is it also what I felt like was very obviously, like, sexual assault, right? Like, or, like, what is it also, you know, or is it something completely innocuous and not any of that, right? And that was not really consistent because of, like, how things come together, especially at the end.
It's this thing where it's like, I feel like it's using, like, quote unquote sexual violence in a way to be like to be a little provocative, but also to just, like, also just use it, like, again, it's kind of how I think it gets a little too in the weeds with the metaphor, because I don't think it's trying to say that it is, like, just straight up, like, sexual assault, but at the same time, you can't say it doesn't come off that way, because, like, they're dead, you know? Like, if it was if it was one of those things where it was like, oh, they got turned into a bear, that would be one thing, because it'd be like, okay, they realize that they're, you know, because then the metaphor would be they realize that they're gay. That would be one thing, maybe, but I mean, sure, Rose, if you have a take, I'll hear it.
No, I was gonna say, like, I do understand what you're saying, but I do think, like, there is a layer of the metaphor you can say of, like, hey, they are now dead in the eyes of society. They are treated as dead now. And that's probably what their intent is, but I do understand exactly what you're saying as well, because it is like, this is what you're saying about, like, the structure of it as a narrative versus a metaphor, right? Like,
yeah, like, the context seems to change every time, and I think that's what's a little iffy. And from there, I think, like, where I think some of the weaknesses the series has compared to the other ones is because I feel like the characters were not even in regards to, like, again, I know it's not fair to bring it, but, like, Utena has, like, again, talking about the original series too, like, and like, it has a huge cast, and I feel like it does, like, a lot of good, like, way when it comes to focusing on people's individual stories and how do they all interweave back into the core, right? In this case, it feels very... It felt very... You know, it felt very focused and magnifying on the core three girls. And as a result, everyone else feels very one-note. They have their role, that's it. They're done. Goodbye. They either die, something, you know what I mean? Like,
contrasted against Utena.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't have that attachment to them. Like, you know, like, so then it's like they're just there. You know, like, again, kind of like a fairy tale. Like, all of his projects are very intentionally fairy tale like, where, like, a character just has one role. They step out. That's it. And again, that's like Utena's whole thing. It's about, like, the subversion of a fairy tale reality. But in this case, I just don't have, like, a much attachment to the other characters when things happen. And as a result, I think that's where kind of, like, the ad nauseum of things feeling too repetitive or overstaying welcome comes in, because we're not really exploring these other people or really exploring the potential of these other arcs that I think could really interweave well with the main central plot. I was thinking, for instance, I don't know, I didn't really care much about, that sounds, I don't know, not care much, but, the whole thing with her mom, which is, okay, yeah, that's, that, which is, the main, underlying thing that's going on with her, but then, when they reveal, the very obvious, yeah, obviously that was her mom's lover, how is that, but then they really, just linger on that in a way that's, we kind of knew about that 4 episodes ago. We don't need to, I feel like we can be doing something else here, you know what I mean? I think about who else? The class president, right? That's who she was. I forgot her name already. I don't know, she again, it makes sense to just kind of have, these one-note villains, which, again, maybe I'm being wrong, they're not one-note as they are tended to be, but I feel like there's so much more we could have knew about her before, the quote-unquote twist, or at least, what, her, kind of the conclusion of who she was, and yeah, but meanwhile, there's some characters we obviously don't need, again, there's always these characters across, Penguin Drum has this, Utena, the Severance Court, they're great, leave those men alone, they're fine, I don't need to care about who these men are, they're just doing whatever they need to do.
Well, the only characters that don't need to change are the men.
But it feels like such a disservice to where again, oh my gosh, yeah, these names are already not what's her name? It feels like such a disservice where yeah, we just barely knew anything about Sumika. I feel like I get the shock value of Sumika just dying in the first episode. It's oh, okay, this is, but
if I could, it's if you can extrapolate it, sure, it's the idea that Kureha, Kureha, learn to love again, understand what that feeling is like, and be able to carry that with her original love in Ginkgo, where the idea overall being that she had already given up on love in order to save somebody, but realizes that it's easier to accept love and to carry that forward, accepting those concepts. When I say it out, when I'm saying the metaphors out loud and providing the analysis, yeah, it works. But then also it's I'm not paying attention all the way. Why is she a bear now too at the end? I kind of missed that. Let me rewrite it real quick. Okay, I guess this works out. It's very... Yeah, again, I don't know, it loses itself in the metaphor at times, which, again, depending on your level of interest in, the narrative itself, maybe that's not necessary. Maybe you just appreciate the spectacle. Totally works. And can still be discernible from that point. But it definitely makes me think about, Review Starlight and the way that it wraps itself in its metaphor almost to detriments at points, but then still finds itself at the end delivering on a message. And especially so when I think about the movie and how it, takes its time to deliver, again, very simple message, but to be very elaborate in the way that it comes across. And I would say probably with as many undertones as well as Yurikuma can, but it just sort of is a different level of direction or a different intent. Could also be the way that I could describe it.
I think that the part of the show that I really liked now on this rewatch the most was the very ending, because I feel like that's its strongest metaphor of hey, look, this, all of that happening was enough to make one person think differently about themselves.
Oh yeah,
and try to care and try to be themselves and stuff. And I was just you know what? Ignoring everything else to varying degrees in this show, I think that's they did really good with that one. I think they crushed it with that one.
No, yeah, the sheer The fact that in all of this, someone to be able to say like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go," that is easily like the most powerful shot in any of these. Favorite shot in general, like the little bit of the prince getting into the box before it gets kicked off.
Yeah.
Oh, man. A very cute little scamper before
Fucking over.
before he gets
That
just
was
punted to his death.
I also actually did want to say I watched the dub. John watched the dub also, right? Did you two
Yes.
watch the subs?
I watched
Yes.
the sub, yeah.
Okay. I've only ever seen the subs before now. I thought the dub was pretty funny. Especially near the end. The girl who says like all the time, really good. Really, really good. The head of the exclusionary committee.
Oh, that's a good bit for her.
She's just like, oh my gosh, we like need to kill them now, okay? And it's just like really good.
We're gonna totally exclude the bears.
Yeah, we're gonna like totally exclude the bears. It's like totally disgusting. She was really good, and Lulu was crazy to me. Everything, just Lulu comes in. Lulu thinks that Lulu did a bad thing.
Yeah, she has to talk
It's like all the
like
time.
in first. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. That and just them always going growl all the time.
Yeah.
Hearing it in English is like felt more insane for some reason. After hearing
I'm
yours,
sure.
it's like sometimes they'll go kuma kuma or something, or like giri giri. Yeah, I was happy to revisit it again, honestly. Like I said, I think I appreciated it a little bit more. But now that I've seen Utena since then, I do sort of agree with you, Elvie, in a sense of just like, I think Utena is like maybe the best one of his that I've seen. Like, I like Penguin Drum a lot also. I think Penguin Drum's really good. But Utena is like a really good blend of the metaphor and the narrative and the just fucking around and making a cool production.
Yeah.
But this one's still a great production. Really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you keep saying, the soundtrack and the visuals, all great. But just in general, just the cutting. I love the cutting in this. Like I said Shaft, but it's even like more elegant than Shaft. Because Shaft has a lot of hard
I'd say
cuts. It's just sort of, flowery, flows into one another.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of good like montages. I think it was like the end of episode 3 or getting into episode 4, where it's also just like the music cuts in a way where I'm like, all right, let's get in here. Let's, sit in whatever this space is going to be.
Yeah, a big thing for me, like, I noticed was, like, it actually really respects silence, despite how insane the show visually is, and at a glance seems very simulating, but there's a lot of times where, like, there were just moments of silence that was very intentional, which I think was interesting, especially, like, after someone dies or something serious. Like, it actually, it actually pays attention to that, So it doesn't always undercut something. It doesn't always undercut things like with how kind of silly things seem to be on the surface, which I really appreciate. What was when did they jump out the window? I remember that being there was a part where they jump out the window. Was that even just an early episode? And it was like that's the most insane part. I love that part because it was just insanely slow for no reason. They animated a slow motion for no reason. The two of them, like, they just jumped out a window. I think it's like when they finally like go to her house. I don't remember specifically. There was just a lot going on.
It was something like that. Like they find out that like Ginkgo and Lulu are bears.
Yeah.
Which I feel is like episode 5 or 6.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Yurikuma, Arashi? Anyone?
We do have some replies.
All right. Let's go into that.
The previously mentioned Robin replied to us on Twitter and said, "Such a great tribute to the works of Akiko Morishima, who did the original manga." So I guess the original manga came out first.
No, she
she's
did the character design and the manga.
And she's a famous Yuri
yeah.
mangaka. So
Okay, I see.
Yeah, she did.
That was sort of a like, hey, can you come over here?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically she was consulted for character design and maybe, yeah, again, possibly writing. Who
Did
knows?
the manga later.
But then she did the manga
yeah.
after. Yeah.
Deliberately mixing metaphors to blur the lines between romance and violence and how scary they both are works wonders against the cutesy, hyper-feminine art style and environments. OP is an all-timer. Sabadadoodoo. That's right. I mean, yeah, no, that OP is really fucking good.
It is. Like I said, it's just those damn. Honestly, the ending's really good too. I like the ending.
Yeah, that bear was getting it.
That bear fucking gets. That's the thing that I think. Like, I mean, Penguin Drum's a lot of the same way. It's like I think more people don't understand. You just show like 90% of those Twitter meme videos is just like weird songs that take off on YouTube, or like they just have like a loop of a dancing thing, like a baby sensory video. And like I think you just need to do that, and you kind of win. It's really easy. One easy trick to success.
Yeah, but also like again, it's funny finding out that like this would have been if my cards aligned in a way that I somehow got access to this as it was airing. That would have been my first exposure to Bonjour Suzuki, which happened later because they did the ending for Luluko, and I ate that up.
I also ate that up.
Yeah, but no, OP, great, good vibes. Well, the video otherwise, but the song.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the thing is like the one thing that throws it off in the opening is just I can take the honey, I can't take the weird toe biting. I don't listen. Y'all can do whatever you want, but I don't know what's going on there.
Slow Kuma nibble. I don't know what your ilk do.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not that.
And then the last thing is from Anonymous. It says, I love the ending, but I also thought it was interesting that their love had to be approved by the male judges. Like, if their queer romance wasn't palatable to men, then it wasn't worth anything. We live in a society.
I do sort of see where they're coming from with that. I think that is the... But, like, because, like, I think that's part of the struggled metaphors, right? Like, to an extent of, like, they do want to establish that early on. I think their intent is, like, hey, like, we want to showcase how, like, they have to be approved by these men or whatever. But then it's like, but then it gets caught up in its own narrative. So then it's like, all right, this is what we established as fine near the end.
Again, it's the fact that, like, if I think immediately about every other show, I can at least tell you, like, a mix of male and female characters in each. Like, Utena has its mix, and there's a deliberate reason why. Penguin Drum, I'm at least aware, has a mix, and there's a reason why. Sarazanmai has its boys, but then it's, like, again, a mix of eclectic characters. This is the one where it's kind of just, like, bears and women specifically. And we're gonna just forget that, like, men exist on the planet. Which, again, other shows do, and it's fine, like, it'll work. But it's just really funny for this one, where you might want to have the included perspective of gender, but then it's kind of like, well, when do we present that? Only in the bears? Which then... What's that mean? Is it only gay guys? I don't know.
It's really funny because the thing that I watched had the English dub, then also had like like translations for the signs and stuff like that. And whenever a character is introduced, the way that I watched it, they always said that they were a homo next to their name. Like, it would say their name and then homo. And so it's just one of those things where it's just like, if everyone's gay, then like,
if everyone's gay, no one is.
Well, no, then it's like it gets away from the metaphor then, because it's like everyone's literally gay. Then at this point, then they're literally just trying to keep themselves safe from bears. Like if you have to look at the metaphor from like an outside perspective, because when you look at it from an inside perspective and you're just like, this is what's happening to the characters, it's like they're all lesbians and they're getting attacked by bears. That is just literally what's happening in the story. Like,
man, these bears just really hate these lesbians.
The more I was thinking about it, also, actually, I feel like the actual message is, you know that you've made it real as a lesbian when the Himadanchis are all there clapping for you and approving you in court. They think that it's acceptable.
They think it's cool, sexy, and style.
Style.
That's what we need. Cool, sexy style. It's Dante. There you go. Yeah, if all
Where do you think he learned it from?
If all three of those guys fused, it would be Dante. That's the answer. That's what they did.
That's basically what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the show, they fly away, and then they just merge together, and then that's how Dante was born.
That was the unexplored link after Devil May Cry 2 that they never got to.
Yeah, he shows up just like, what the hell is this? At the severance barrier.
Yeah. He's standing on that spot that Ginkgo's always standing on.
Yeah.
He's going to get shot. And he's just like, what the hell is this? All right. Cool. Then, I figure we've been putting it off talking about it. But like a month ago, 3 of us saw the Gurren Lagann movies.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Or at least, I think me and Maverick saw one of them. John saw both of them.
I did.
But I think I've seen both of them enough to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Was that your first time seeing... So, like, both of you have seen the series, right?
I have.
Before? Okay.
No.
And John, you have too, right?
I got halfway through it, and then
Okay.
the story that I always tell because it's insane is just I was actively watching it, and then I was watching it on Netflix, and it skipped the episode where like all the important shit happens, and it just went straight into the next episode, and it was just like it just took the wind out of my sails because it was just like, okay, yeah, like, and so I just couldn't get back to it. But now, all these years later, watching the movies, it's a really good way to experience it. I mean, they cut a good amount of like the fluff from the base show in the first movie, because again, I had seen that stuff, so I remembered that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I get why they kind of just made this a montage, but I haven't seen anything beyond that, so I will. I think I should. I think I might sit down eventually and watch the whole thing front to back because I did love the movies, and yeah.
If you do that, I would say just watch like up to when they go into space, and then just watch the movie again instead. Because I think the thing with the second movie, especially, is just they really cleaned up that ending a lot. But they did cut out some fun stuff with Kitan. I think that's the main thing. That's the unfortunate thing of the movies is Kitan's still cool, but he feels a lot more like Boba Fett, for lack of a better comparison point. Of like he's a, if you know, you know, but the movies don't really show it. Was both of yours, were your theaters okay? Because I had a couple friends who had nightmare experiences.
Mine was fun. It was like, I could tell that it felt like a lot of people were also thinking that, of like, oh god, is this going to be a chill theater? And we like collectively got ourselves to the point of like, yeah, no, okay, this is cool, let's cheer, because we all have like at least seen like it.
Yeah.
We like the show, we like the movies if we've seen them before. I think we're gonna be chill here. No one's just like doing stuff for the sake of it. Like, we'll laugh when the best wife in the universe swing happens and clap because that's a great line. And like when the Giga Drill break happens, we're all gonna get passionate about that because it's like it wasn't awful. I think we all collectively got into it enough that it's like, you know what, yeah, let's lose ourselves a little bit in this.
My friend had an experience where they just started playing the first movie for the second movie.
Oh, bad.
just played the whole movie through and went, if you stay, you can watch the second one. And like 2 people did.
Oh my god.
Which was unfortunate. I really liked the communist voice actor clip they had before the movie.
Oh yeah.
I thought that the Imaishi clip was funnier because it's so funny to see how subdued they are compared to, like, if you see that man at Anime Expo, he's killing people in the streets. Like, he's just like jumping off the walls. But it's funny to see him like in a room going like, I'm too old. Could make Gurren Lagann today. They'd kill me.
Just don't have the same juice. I'm not there anymore.
Which is like, I get what he means. Like, even if he's still creating like crazy shit, like Promare is like, honestly, like, you know, still in the vein of things. It's like, even Promare is a lot of subdued scenes compared to Gurren Lagann, which feels like, you know, even when they do like a dialogue heavy scene, it just leads into giant punches immediately or something.
Right.
It's having seen a bunch of Toku and stuff recently, seeing this in the theater format and everything really made me appreciate just how much it is like, man, dude loves mecha anime, dude loves Toku stuff, like, to the point where it's like, I love that part of the second film where they go up into space and they do the first big Gurren Lagann fusing with the big spaceship, and that transformation sequence just blows up like almost all of the enemies instantly, of just them like going like, hey, we're here, dude. And it's like, yeah, you're right, because that's the coolest part of any super robot thing, of any Toku thing, is when they show up and do their like, I am here, it's me, Kamen Rider, I'm here to kick them. And then they can do all the other cool stuff. I really like Gurren.
No,
I
like
don't know if you know this.
At some point, like, I should go back and give it a rewatch. It is one of the first shows I watched where I was actually cognizant of the fact that I was watching anime. It was like,
Me too, honestly, yeah.
I always like describe it where it was like the summer of like maybe like 7th going into 8th grade. I had a shitty laptop, and like the things that I was doing, I was just like going into like a mega upload, and that was like the year that summer. It was like saw Scott Pilgrim, read those graphic novels, watched Fully Cooley, watched Gurren Lagann, load that up with like years of just watching like Etta and Eddie and shit. Like, that's why my brain is like this now. And add genuine like conversations with people to help add to like, you know, round things out holistically. But like, that was it's a formative work for me, and it's been a while, because it feels like, oh man, am I going to be embarrassed? But like, sitting there and realizing it's been like, God, I'm trying to remember, when did the actual movie come out? Like the first time?
2010, I think.
Yeah,
because it was before they left for friggin' Trigger.
Right. So it's been maybe like 14 years that I've watched like that scene on YouTube. Just specifically like the climax of the Anti-Spiral versus Team Daiguren, like realizing like, oh, I'm visualizing the German subs that would be underneath the clip that I would usually be watching, because that's how often I would just go back and like see that on like my shitty iPhone at the time, because I just found out about like the fact that they made a Gurren Lagann movie at all. And to see it on the big screen felt so surreal. Like, I probably cried during that point. I probably teared up during that point, because it was kind of just like, this is happening, and I get to be here to experience it.
I'm a little envious of you only because I think I would, like 2015 was when I had the like, oh, I'm watching an anime experience with Gurren Lagann. Like taking things on the level. I watched like Gurren Lagann, Madoka, and something else like back to back, and I was like, whoa, anime's crazy.
It's like I can remember, like I had a Gaia Online account at the time. There are posts,
oh man,
that you can find in a not public forum, private forum, but
I thought you said you could just still find them.
I know where
That's
they are.
beautiful.
I know where I can find them because I still have that account. I can still do that. But it's like I remember posting that same day, like, I can't believe this show is doing stuff like this. This is what anime can be. Like the same summer that I'm like getting onto like Justin.tv to watch people live stream video games for charity right before it gets turned to like it. Middle school was when a lot of things changed. Middle school was the vibe shift. Not for anything in particular, but just for the way that like I would then spend the next like decade plus online is what I'm realizing. Mm-hmm. But among several things, yeah, it is sort of just the way that like I encountered anime in general. Which, you know, if I had somehow gone into it like as it was airing, that would have been nuts. But like still a good representation of like just where things were at the time, and it just made me very nostalgic. Like, I don't know. I also say this as somebody who just has never watched Evangelion, and I think for me it's specifically the point where like at some point I will, because I know that I can come to appreciate it, but also being aware about just, I guess, what the series is and the way that it like presents itself. Having taken in the stuff that like Anno worked on previously in Gunbuster, that then Imaishi and Anno's other colleagues would iterate on in like Fulikuli, Diebuster, Gurren Lagann. It's the one piece that I haven't gotten to that I know would be integral, but at the same time, it's kind of just like, I don't know. Everything else kind of helps to fill in the pieces. Eventually, I'll get to it, but I'm in no rush. And I want to try and say that in a way that isn't, like, pretentious about it, because how can I be pretentious about the show with the hamster that loves to burrow into the lady's chest? It's less about something being better and more just I am more Simon than I am Shinji.
No, I definitely feel the same way as someone who watched both around the same time but just resonated with one over the other.
Yeah, and I think that's the conceit of it. Less, you know, merit or deconstruct, like less about things.
It's the difference of like metaphor, right? It's just like the types of metaphor almost of like you want the like they're both about the same thing fundamentally to an extent, right? Like it's just
I mean that's the whole idea, that there is sort of just the I mean if you were to distill the situations, you know, Evangelion is the story of a boy who's totally alone trying to make connection. Gurren Lagann is the story of someone who has family, but then over time still has to learn how to make his own mark and his own, like, shape of the world. Since those connections also come and go.
Man, I love Gurren Lagann.
It's good. I still have my core drill back in like my parents' place.
Oh, I wore mine.
I would have, but it's like I gotta get a string like that.
Yeah,
I bought that shit in FYE. Like
I just attached mine to my rosary.
Again, like I need to find like a good like not chain, but just like a good like necklace rope. I've been meaning to for a while because like I tried to wear it in middle school, but that shit would always like fall
It's
off.
big, honestly. Like it's not big, heavy, right? I don't know if yours is the same as mine, but it's heavier than a normal necklace thing.
Heavier than a normal necklace, and it's like I tried to use just like regular string, but like the gap was big enough that it would always fall off. So if I had it like hanging, you'd always just hear something like ding. And it was also sharp as fuck, which like I could stab somebody with that shit.
No, you can do the Lord Genome.
I can do
the first movie, just boom.
If I were more zealous of a child, I would have gotten suspended probably. Like, I'm gonna get you, Lord Genome, and then just oops. Somebody is going to the hospital, and
we must have the same one, because mine is also the same. All these problems you're listing.
No, yeah, it's like the one that, like, specifically I'm thinking about the one that came in, like, the shitty box that had, like...
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's like, the one. But...
Beautiful thing.
Like, I just haven't taken it out of its home, which is the, miscellaneous drawer back in my parents' place. Which I should fix. I'm always talking about, I need a chain or something. And...
you need it. You know what? It works for so many things. Let me tell you. There was a period of time where I was using that, like, there's like a annoying plastic wrap thing. Boom. Like opening game cases. You just...
Oh, yeah.
In there.
Like... I got a friend that bought, like, the Sonic Ice, and he'll wear it whenever he has to, like, play a show. Like, that's what I need. That's what my core drill can be. It'll be my statement piece.
I like that a lot. But you know what? We've also been putting off talking about the new season of anime.
We've really been putting that off.
I realized that. Like, I was like, God damn. But you know what? It's fine. We're here now to fix this. LV, we just had our little moment. Is there anything that you want to talk about from this current season, or that you've just been watching in general, I suppose?
Sure. We as a group, we all have been watching. I didn't write it down, obviously, because
you've also been watching
Dungeon Meshi.
All right,
right?
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything specific to say. I'm happy with this adaptation. I have some qualms about pacing, but it's whatever. If they're getting another season, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's my main thing. I'm like, if we get another, then I think we'll be fine.
So.
Yeah.
I will say I was glad that they made. They had to do the best they could, but I'm glad. Like, what I thought was the worst part of Dungeon Meshi, which is the orc racism episode.
Oh my god!
I thought they did an okay job of trying to clean it up a little. I thought they did, but I'm torn on the animation at times because it's like it is very faithful to it all, but with like a little bit of Little Witch pizzazz. But I almost wish they would go a little harder, which it seems like they are kind of on an episode by episode basis, because there was like. Like, I really liked that smear sequence with Lao's backstory as a child or whatever. They're just going crazy. And I would like to see a little bit more of that, maybe. But I thought it was pretty good.
A big thing that has been making me crazy about this series, and it's not the series' fault, but by proxy, we're once again we're entering spring. Spring is coming, guys. We're entering another. There's I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling my words because there's a definite D&D explosion again right now.
Yeah.
The anniversary of the big Hasbro IP itself is coming. There's a whole bunch of stuff around it because of that. We got the cons. There's an off-Broadway show here around New York City. That's going to pop up, and I've seen the show before. It's pretty cool. It's like an interactive show where people play D&D and you mess them around as an audience member. Cool, but they're getting a big space. A lot of stuff is happening. So more people are discovering this series. It kills me when I'm like I'm in a bunch of D&D Facebook groups because Gen Xers love Facebook groups. I can't go anywhere else. Like, I can't, so I'm like, sure, I guess I'll join this D&D group because for some reason but there's always like a thread every 5 days of people being like, "Have you heard of this show? Did you not see?" First of all, you could. I don't know. That's a weird nitpicky thing I have. I'm like, you can just, hello? There was a thread about this, like, there were 50 threads about this yesterday. Where were you? But then 2, people wondering why the show is rated mature is the funniest thing to me. And then, you have these, like, Gen X nerd moms who have, like, their kids and they're watching it together. I'm like, oh, no. Oh no!
They're gonna love
But I'm like, this is not a Dungeon Meshi problem. This is just an inherent and choosing to ignore media literacy. It's not that people are media literate; they're just not trying. Again, like this is not that much different. Again, from like how video games are rated mature. Dads always buy little boys COD and GTA.
Yeah.
That's not gonna, they know what that. But like to me, it's just funny when people. To me, it's just funny when these posters are like posting about it, wondering, that's weird. Can anyone? But then they're just still watching it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just weird to me. They're not like researching it on their own accord, and they're just like still watching it with kids or something. I don't know. It's very weird. Or people scared that there's sexual content, which unfortunately comments on the state of anime. And again, it's not Dungeon Meshi's fault. Where people have to be like, is it rated mature because of fan service? I hope not. No, and thankfully not. But yeah, it's
now hold on.
I know.
Let's not pretend like there isn't anything going on. My man Senshi
you're right.
gets thrown hither and thither.
His thick ass.
His balls are everywhere.
Throwing it back. It gets also progressively more insane at least as the manga went on.
I need to continue.
He just gets
with,
more detail.
I'm at like the tail, like I'm like maybe 3 volumes away from the end. And so, yeah, like I can only assume he will continue to just like get flustered and strewn about to continue to show off his thigh and dick and balls.
Bro's gooch is just out there.
It really is.
His taint area is just on full display. Might as well be a goddamn serving dish at this point.
We love a man getting tussled about. What I love is there was because I think she had a fun. Where was she interviewed? That big magazine? Forgot. Well, anyway, the creator Ryoko Kui of the Dungeon Meshi mangaka, she was interviewed recently, and she was listing all her like influences, and yeah, she's like a genuine, authentic like tabletop gamer. She's listed all this shit, and then she did a drawing of like a lot of her favorite game elves. So that's been a photo circulating, which is really funny, and she just loves all the women. And I thought that was like like everyone's like, oh, what's going on here? But yeah, it's just very nice that again we seem to be having like finally like this relief for a bit, right? Who knows? Of like fantasy that's coming from like a genuine place and being explored in like in a way that's not trapped by the bondages of like isekai or weird. See right now, like I think we as we predicted last time, it's not just isekai, but it's just like annoying meta comedy fantasy anime that is trying to like lampoon on things, and it's just not funny. You know what I mean? It's just
fantasy as portrayed.
Yeah,
through...
ever since like Slime, ever since like Konosuba, it's just and Slime. Like things are like, oh, we can do that. So it's not isekai, but it's trying to do that.
It's not like fantasy as described as I'm aware of what Dragon Quest is.
Yes,
which is its own whole measure of not even like I played Dragon Quest or like I've played an RPG. It's so weird because like ultimately what makes Delicious in Dungeon work is the fact that it's not talking about leveling up. It's not talking about just like abstract, oh, we're doing video game stuff. It is more specifically engaging in its ecosystem and describing everything as if it is a lived-in world, which makes it intriguing. It makes it so that you do want to learn more. Like, I don't know, I think about the fact that, like, with the young warriors since she's just like, here's what you gotta do to get strong. And it is something that, like, isn't even that far-fetched. It quite literally is just... It's the fact that... Or it's the thing that, like, with so much of health YouTube out and about trying to just, like, squeeze money out of people, to just hear, hey, if you eat less calories than the amount that you normally expend, you'll end up losing weight because of the fact that there is a deficit. If you do an exercise repetitive amounts of times, you will earn muscle. And it's a matter of just keeping your, like, specific amount of action consistent and continuing to add more resistance so that your muscles are building up to do that amount of resistance. It's nothing like rocket sciencey, but it's just the matter of actually having to do it. Yeah. And Dungeon Meshi is a good example of, like, showing people having to just do the damn thing in order to actually, like, progress, which is fun. It's different from just, here I have, like, the powerful cheat spell from, like, the forbidden setup or whatever the hell.
Yeah, like, she's created a cast of characters that are not typical archetypes in anime, but very clearly from her own actual, again, likely from her own personal experiences playing these games and playing with other nerds and being in those spaces, like, she's actually created characters that are, like, archetypes that, again, I've seen across the board of people watching this for the first time and getting into the manga because of this. Like, oh, that's just like me for real, you know, like, again, D&D memes. Like, I think she's created, like, a cast that actually is very reflective of, like, what an actual player archetype is like what an archetype a player chooses to be like. Again, you know, like, everyone kind of fits that bill in a different way, but they're not archetypes of what we've been seeing in those types of fantasy anime, those other types of fantasy anime.
Yeah.
And yeah, great point about the food too. Like, yeah, there is definitely thought put into that in terms of, like, I think even compared to anime that calls itself the food anime or the cooking anime, like, it actually also, it actually is talking about proper health and nutrition in a way that doesn't get as technical in other places. That would probably be like, oh, here's a recipe. But for that to be actually thought about, like, in terms of, like, you know, fictional fantasy creatures being converted into food is very brilliant, you know, and, like, oh yeah, this would be this meat would probably be the equivalent of, like, what beef is, or this is basically just a vegetable. So this would be obviously like her interpretation of what this would be. Like, oh, this is just a scallion essentially. So yeah,
I don't think I got to last week's episode. The one I just watched was with the mermen. Mm-hmm. The merfolk, yeah. And so the whole the entire debate about just, like,
that
what
whole
did you
part
get?
of the manga was
like, where did this come from?
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, and then again, like, just laughing at the mature rating of the shit. Like, definitely, like, where later on, like, in terms of the ethics of, like, and personal morality, right, over sentience and what they're eating, you know. And again, it's already disturbing, right? Like, one of the first things they eat is a cute little mushroom that has feet. And then you're like, no, they're gonna eat a mushroom, baby, you know? And then, yeah, it just gets more kind of, like, horrific, like, as they go down the line. It's in a way that isn't edgy, right? I think that really helps it too. It's not, like, trying to be scary or intentionally edgy about it. I think it's really logical to discuss that in the series.
Yeah, like, again, it's the exploration of an entire ecosystem and what exactly that ecosystem provides for you. Where if you have a familiarity with, you know, birds, poultry, livestock, and that is already familiar to you to eat, okay, cool. Like, what are the equivalencies? What are the, like, things that are set up in this kind of society? There's an understanding of, like, lesser human, which,
right,
when we say that out loud, that's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But is also just the reality of, like, no one's out here trying to eat monkey, parentheses animal, in a way that is, like, you know, commonplace. And I'm sure that there are cultures where that is something that, due to the area and due to like the reception, maybe that'll be different. Or more often than not, like talked about, what are locations where dog becomes like a source for food, where animals we associate for other means and for other points just become part of the cuisine. Hell, like, you know, I ate kangaroo once. And that, like, those motherfuckers.
Did it punch you before you, like...
But then it's like when you
punched you before you ate it. You have to get into a fight with it first.
No, but then it's like you talk about the history of kangaroo in Australia, and it's like, statistically speaking, there will always be more kangaroo than people in the continent, which is why you can actually like farm it, which is to the extent that like it is as abundant as cattle in some cases.
Yeah, the way guinea pigs is eaten in some cultures.
Yeah, that too. And it's like...
Yeah.
It presents these quandaries in a way where, yeah, inside this dungeon, you know, everyone is comfortable with the idea of bringing in your, like, rations already. But if you are going to be a part of this area, you kind of have to learn how to engage with it. And the fact that there are so many lessons on conservation of resources, being sure to like only take as much as you need, and to, you know, kill for the means of yourself and not overkill. That's also just good stuff to like have, where like once I had like a person that like was of age, or maybe like, you know, if I was talking to a high schooler and they're like, hey, what's some anime you like? I would easily point them to this show because of the fact that it's not only fun, it's not only engaging and dynamic, it genuinely can be a point for conversation and to, you know, talk about some of those lessons that are being brought up. It's not trying to, like, provide a moral, but it's just actively presenting these opportunities for growth because of the nature of its plot.
It's a good show. I don't really have anything to add other than what you all
I will
talked
say,
about.
I think it's exceedingly funny, Maverick. You kept bringing it up too, of just like, this keeps happening recently. This happened with Scott Pilgrim, and it happened with a couple other things where it's just like, in the lead up to this shit, people just say like, the discourse is going to be so bad over Trigger's dungeon meshing. And it's like, no, people just watch it. Actually,
people just watch a show that's made by people that have also done. Again, I haven't finished Little Witch Academia, but, like, you know, that was it doing its own thing. Trigger is more than just one person. Platinum Games is more than just one person. Well, in that case, it's different, because Kamiya's now out of there. But, you know, a studio is more than just one guy.
Yeah. I remember a part of me saying, like, oh, we're fine to keep going, because it was for a while, we've all been behind on anime. And It was a situation where it was like, we only have Dungeon Meshi to talk about. And I was like, how many hours do you think we've talked about Dungeon Meshi on this podcast all told in like the last 5 years? Probably surprising amount of time. But, you know, it's cool. It's good to see. I'm glad that it's being opened to people who can't read manga, which would normally be me, but I did happen to read this one before. But
again, it's the thing where it's like Ryokukuya just does such a good job that I would hope it at least gets people to, you know, look through some of the paging at least.
Yeah. For sure. I'm interested to see whatever they do next. I was liking their, was it Famitsu interview?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. It was Famitsu.
It was
that she did the art with the elf girls. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked,
and then it listed her games that she liked, and
those games. Like some of them are questionable,
deep cuts.
But it was like a lot of me being like so real for this.
She definitely bootlegged half of those. She definitely pirated half of it. I was like, there's no way. I don't know how old she is too. Like some of them are like, girl, you definitely bootlegged
like
somebody
slightly older than us.
Yeah.
She was saying like watched friggin' Ultima and stuff like that with her dad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like trying to paint a picture like did she discover this later on? Like, yeah.
Oh no, CRPG fetish just for life, I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, the common thread seems to be their dad is a nerd. You know what I mean? It's just like a weird, like, oh yeah, like, and I hear like a lot of friends I have who are like, yeah, my mom worked at a place where they had the first Xerox machine, so I got a lot of free shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about?
I'm so
like, their parents were in the 80s tech boom somehow, or whatever, when all those corporate offices got a computer for the first time.
All of these situations, every time I hear about them. Even just like
what are you talking
one
about?
of my girlfriends talks about how her grandfather loves like Zelda and played Zelda all the time. And was just like, God damn it, I want that. I should have had that. I don't really have much to say about my two shows, so I'll just fire them off here real quick. These are both original anime for the season that came out that I've been watching. Brave, Big Bang Bang, Brave, Brave, Bang, Bang, Brave. Hold on, Brave Bang Bang Bravern. The song is Bang 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 Brave. It's original anime by Games Pictures. It's all about a mech named Bravern. Have y'all had heard about this at all?
I've heard about it. It is it's an Obari show. So
it's Obari, yeah.
You know,
it certainly is. Basically, the premise of the show is it's like they pitch it the first episode as like a normal war anime, and then like right at the end, just this super robot named Bravern who can talk shows up, and the show just switches into this insane character dynamic interaction of this like really anxious soldier guy and his super insane super robot who is like acts like he's in a super robot show even though everything's serious war. Named Bravern, who the robot is very gay for the main character. He says a lot of stuff that I don't want to repeat, but you'll see. He really likes asking him to come inside him. He keeps saying that like pretty much every episode multiple times, and everyone just looks really annoyed.
He just wants to eat him, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Toe shit, yeah.
But they have there's a lot going on. They have a great secondary lead who's this American soldier guy who they're doing a lot of other stuff with. He has like a weird, insane. He adopts like an alien daughter immediately, and it screams all the time. It's really great. I really recommend this show. I don't want to say too much about it because it's just
that's the candidacy of a gay single bachelor.
Yeah,
sounds like already. Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Up to that.
You have to get the child. No, it's a really good show though. I really recommend it. There's just a bunch of little tiny things they do that I really like to like capture the super robot stuff. Like he's blasting the super robot theme music when they're doing a fight out of his speakers, like the robot is. And like everyone is just really confused every time it's happening. He like manifests like the henshin sequence animation as a screen behind him when he transforms and stuff like that. It's really good. Proving once more, Games Pictures seems to be crushing it. Frankly, all of these Games animes, like Zombieland Saga, etc., really good stuff.
Yeah, I just downloaded the most recent episodes of Bravern, so hopefully when I have some downtime, I can actually catch up. And
it's really good.
I've had a bunch of friends that have been like getting Bravern pilled and want to watch that. I also downloaded the most recent season of High Card since that's back up. And then other than that, halfway through the season, so spring is just setting and is on the way, and I have no idea what else to really like get into aside from those two.
Well, I don't know if I can recommend this one fully to you, but Bones has been doing Metallic Rouge, which is a cyberpunk I guess cyberpunk is just the word to use. It's very Blade Runner-y to an extent.
Yeah, like aesthetically, I don't know what it's trying to be. I didn't start it yet, but it was something I was interested in trying.
It's like a blend of like a Big O bebop style, ambiguous sci-fi worlds with robot. They have robot racism. And that's the part I would say.
Oh, okay.
Is the downside of the show is they're doing a lot of stuff that's really interesting and cool and fun, and I like the way that they're doling out their world building because you don't really know what's going on or what like the state of everything is. Like, I really liked how like it was like the end of the second episode they just start talking about like, yeah, you know, ever since the war, and then they don't really like go all the way into the war. And the next episode will show like some relics of that. And then like offhandedly someone will mention like, you know, that shit that happened on Jupiter or something, which reminds me a lot of Blade Runner, right? Like the same way, like all of a sudden Blade Runner is like, wait, how far out in space are people? Like actually, like what's going on? It's cool. I like a lot of the parts of it. I think it's very Toku. Like the whole conceit is basically this character Rouge. She turns into this like red ass Kamen Rider robot and is going around fighting people who have disguised themselves in society called the Immortal Nine. And she's going around and killing them basically because they're doing all sorts of weird stuff. It's episodic mainly. I think they do like some 2-episode arcs here and there, but sometimes they just do 1 episode. Like I said, the robot racism is really the downfall of it because it's just like, it's nothing like offensive, right? It's not like Detroit levels, but it's just the type of, I would say it's still the type of offensive where it's like, come on now, this is just trite. Like you're not actually invested in exploring like the full breadth of what a minority would have to deal with, you know? This very, very feels perfunctory in a way. Which is a shame because everything else is super great. Like every time they get into like one of the big fight scenes where she's fighting like one of those immortal people, it just plays a song that starts with the lyrics, "The moment has arrived for fighting." And it's just really good. And they play this like, I don't even know what genre you would say it is, but it's just this like chant basically with the sickest chuny lyrics of all time. I really like it a lot. It's Bones, so it's animated pretty well and has good consistency. There's some where it's like crazy how good the animation is. There was this whole like conversation these two girls had at one point that was like they were like pointing guns at each other and they were like, it was like the most animated conversation I have ever seen. Like they were like animating every movement of their like jaws. It was scary. But really cool. I think
CGI animation is that
kind of, but like it looked really good, right? Like it's like it didn't look like bad. It was like,
was there weird foreshortening? Like what was going on? Oh
it just looked like rotoscoped almost, honestly.
Yeah, so like the weird over. Yeah,
it was crazy. I was like, did the frame rate just go up? What happened? Like I felt like
it's like how those games, the animators did not talk. They didn't have proper storyboards, so I think they were just animating as they go. That's why they looked insane.
But
oh my god.
I'm a little concerned about it. I'm concerned about both of these shows, honestly, because these are both original shows, and you never know how it's gonna go.
No, they're both
one core. Issue. Also,
Yes, the pain I've been experiencing with these one core original.
But then the fucking aquarium gets 2, right? Like that's what I think about all the time. Like it's
your
like
bane of existence.
Yeah, my fucking devil show. But it's just like, because I think like Braveheart is great. I wouldn't be surprised if Braveheart got a season 2 because like Zombieland did, right? Like wouldn't be too
it's picking up a following. You seem to be seeing. Okay.
And I wouldn't put it past Bones to do that with Metallic Rouge because they're fucking Bones. They can probably do whatever they want, but it's interesting. I like a lot of parts of it. I like how it looks. I like that it's sort of Yuri leaning, not unsure. Who knows?
Yeah. Again, the key art of it makes it look like that. You know what I mean? So it purposely. The way we seen marketing for it, like, and then the preview, like, it looked like it's really trying. And again, it was already in production way before that. But it seems like the marketing is trying to capitalize on how Licorice Recoil was popular. You know,
I would say they're a little more than that, at least so far. So there's that at least. But
But you know what I mean? Like, just the way the art...
Yeah, it's not focused
with
on
the two of them.
so
Yeah.
much. Like, they have an
It just seems
interesting
intentional.
relationship, and I think they are leaning towards that. But
Yeah,
I
and Witch from
wouldn't say-
Mercury, Gundam, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's the
Like-
focus the way those other ones
Yeah,
were trying.
yeah.
It's very big OE, honestly, in a lot of ways. That's why, like it really does have that vibe of like I said, like when Big O, like they don't talk about how like everyone forgot everything for so long, right? They just sort of allude to it, and it's like it has that same sort of intrigue to it in a lot of ways, which is nice to see. I'm so glad we've watched so many things on this fucking podcast, because I would have put off Big O forever, and now I'm like, Big O's so cool. I've also been watching Sengoku Yoku, but there's not much to say about that. It's just a good adaptation, which thank fucking God. Did you guys see the Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer author talking about
What
the
happened?
anime production?
Did it get worse? It got
so,
worse?
So I'm going to talk. Let's talk about this a little. Basically, they were coming out and they were talking about, because obviously I think they released Blu-rays for that now, and he was just talking about like just bad, hated it, awful, and he was saying like, but you guys don't understand. Like, originally I had given the rights over to this company because I met a guy who was really passionate about Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer, and he was like, I can work on this project, great. And he was like, all right, I like your vision, I like your idea, go for it. And then that guy left the company,
Oh boy.
like almost immediately after that happened. So the company just had the rights. The company gives it to this guy, and this fucking guy is like, can I rewrite the story to make it cooler? Because I was thinking, like, they don't really talk about like what if the main character was actually a spy?
Huh?
And the author was just like, what? Like, it was like, yeah, and then like we can add in like his mom was a super spy, and like it's all like it all goes into that. And like they were just like, no. So like let's for Biscuit Hammer was out there that they're like, yeah, I know this anime was fucking awful, okay, but you have to understand, I stopped it from being worse. Like, you know, it's just like, what the hell is going on? It was part of a larger conversation that I think we talked about in our chat a little bit about like that mangaka who unfortunately committed suicide recently.
Because of the live action drama.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
like the way that like these adaptation contracts in Japan are fucking insane. Of
Yeah.
just, like you just get no control over anything, and you just like get tricked into things constantly.
That particular case too, like from the information we got, like that they reported, was like like she had to step in and possibly just now like fix the scripts without being like without that being in her contract. You feel obligated to do that, which I'm sure added to the stress and
Yeah.
like of what already might be her mental state, and feeling so like bogged down that something you made turned into this thing that's getting huge public scrutiny. And yeah, the whole and then again, like Vermo was quoted, there was a really weird relationship between like weird tension, I mean, like between her and the TV script, the adaptation script writer, you know, between those two. And it was just like, what is going on? It's like, you know. The series title, by the way, is called Sexy Tanaka-san,
Right,
which
that's
sounds
what it was,
wild,
yes.
but it's about like an older woman kind
Yeah.
of, like an older woman finding like, you know, like inspiration from a younger coworker, right, who like does belly dancing in a club, you know, and she's like, you know, it seems really interesting and about like you know, like very feminist, sexual liberating. And unfortunately, because of learning about this sad case, it's like, oh, now I kind of want to read this, you know what I mean? But it's just like, so yeah.
We need to do
Yep.
something about this. I know Japan's been getting a little
Society.
better recently, so like I'm
Yes.
optimistic. Like I think you just need to keep talking. That's the thing is you just need to keep talking about this stuff. I think like one of the biggest problems is just we move on to a new thing. That's all. It's like
Yeah, I think with Japan specifically, it's like the issue of rocking the boat, like
Yeah,
it's the stigma of
extremely.
not talking about things.
Yurikuma.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, full circle.
again, for context, like we're recording this at the end of February after like a pretty like apparent actor protest recently,
Yeah.
which honestly, all power to Aaron Bushnell and realizing that, you know, you no longer want to be complicit with stuff. Weird pivot, I understand, but also like, yeah,
No, it
just
just
with
makes
where
sense.
it makes sense that this would at least be the one where, because we've also just been busy. The show about not leaving things just to the like assumption of others. Yeah, you know, be loud, be vocal, be continuously trying to make things better, because it is very easy to give up, and you can't let go of love.
Otherwise, you can never be found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Society.
I was scrolling through the news because we had sort of just like
Oh, yeah.
a lot of stuff had happened. I forgot that fucking Kaiju number 8's gonna air on X.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my god, yes.
Oh,
yes.
man.
Oh,
And then the
I'm sure
fucking
that'll go
producer for like
I think it's also going to be on Crunchyroll, but yeah, it's also streaming on the previous Twitter. It's still Twitter.
FK Twitter. It's Twitter.
yeah, no, but it's like that's
Oh,
It's insane.
tangent. Maverick, the fucking X logo in Belastro makes me think it's the X button every time when I click on it, and then it opens Twitter.
oh, I see it and I'm like, I know y'all had to integrate it, but I'm not gonna click on it.
I'm like, what the hell is that? First time I've seen it, because even all my Japanese games I've been playing recently still use the damn Twitter logo.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah. And I know we had that horrible Crunchyroll news today as well. For AI subtitling, which is a bold decision.
Oh my
let's say,
god,
in
I didn't
their
even
history.
pay attention to any AI
Oh,
subtitling.
yeah. They were saying, the president, I think specifically, was saying, hey, we want to do that. And it's like, cool, you've already been doing so much for us as a society.
Already have been like the amount of like physical media that's now getting just swept out because of the fact that they bought rights stuff, the fucking trying to think, I don't know, again, I'm still just thinking about the goddamn Garden of Words producer that got arrested.
Oh. Yeah, as he should be.
Yeah,
For being a fucking pedo.
like just brazen
so-
with it.
Wild whirlwind of like news. And no, oh yeah, the biggest thing that just made me insane was this official McDonald's anime.
Oh my god, we have
yeah.
not, which again, you know,
And then they're not calling it McDonald's. They're just still not saying McDonald's, which I think is interesting. Like, in the context of the world, it's still McDonald's, which is what anime often uses. Yeah, I don't know. And there's, like, weird promo stuff in Japan for it.
so
Which
to
timed with the Zuckerberg going to McDonald's. I don't know what's going on there.
to my
think maybe they
understanding,
were-
like,
Do you think maybe they are using the McDonald's thing just so that way they can maybe try to get some royalties off of people, like retroactively?
probably.
potentially
both.
royalties, get like the anime weeboo dollar again, because like if people are forgetting that there's a boycott, then
Yeah.
it's easy to be like, oh man, my anime exclusive thing. Like, to my understanding, what is the idea that it's like it's McDonald's, but they are like leaning into the fact like, oh man, we're even an anime, but it's not McDonald's, it's WickDonald's or McDubbies,
Right.
or
If they were to make like anime merch and stuff out of this, that would be so expensive for them to actually deeply associate this. Like, oh yeah, this is actually part of like McDonald's Japan. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. So like actually, so yeah, you're right with that theory. It makes sense for them to like make a distinguished quote unquote original thing, McDonald's. And potentially registering like trademarks for that instead to make stuff out of that.
yeah, I mean, like it reminds me of them doing like similar around the time of like what the WGA and SAG strikes, but they're like, it's McDonald's from all these famous movies. And it's like,
Oh my god, they did that? Like, I'm not paying attention to McDonald's social media game.
well, no, that was back when I was like still.
That was the first? Well, it's not the first, but that was the 2008 strike.
No. I mean this year. Or like this past year.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
they were doing that. It was a really weird.
early on.
Thing.
Okay, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It
was a really weird tie-in. It was basically just like their normal menu items, but like it would say like on the wrapper like this was featured in blah 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 like. The one, the one I remember. I think there was a scene in Loki recently where they ate McDonald's. So like a bunch of them were just like
my God.
the Big Mac as seen in Loki, the sweet and sour sauce as seen in Loki, like that shit. It was
Lord.
very weird. Like they didn't even have any like actual new items or new things for sale. It was just like a small update on the wrapper for some fucking reason. It was bizarre.
Yeah, like those collabs. They were
again where it was just
artists.
like how do we get our name out there? Oh, movies are popular right now, and it's like, gee, I wonder why. And this feels similar, but then it is also just the fact that it's like, hey, where's all that money going to right now?
Again, society. We need
You're
to do
right.
something. We need more doohickeys everywhere.
You're right.
If you buy a Shamrock Shake, you gotta throw it at a Zionist. That's still holding the sanctity of the Shamrock Shake.
It crosses paths with St. Patrick's Day, so I don't know what you do. Maybe you have to do it while if you're partaking in your proud Irish tradition.
I mean, hey,
you gotta figure out how to cross those, Again, and Ireland's pretty base. Ireland's pretty much like, yeah, listen, we're trying to divest from you guys. What's going on here? At least the Ireland politicians I keep seeing.
They I think officially
trapping over.
Yeah, they officially be like, hey, Israel, fuck off.
Irish listeners, you got this. You got something you can do here. You can be creative.
Yeah. But Elvie, what have you been watching?
Yes.
What have you been getting
Oh my
into?
goodness. Yeah, I've been just dipping my toes into everything, but not enough to say much for these couple. But so I've watched A Sign of Affection, which is the kind of hot shoujo one right now in terms of what people were anticipating for, because the premise revolves around a young woman who has who's hearing impaired. They don't outright say if she's. It's not clear to me if she's outright considered deaf, but she has a hearing disability and she wears implants, and so she communicates with sign language, and which we'll get into actually. So that premise enough was like already intriguing for a lot of people. How a lot of people already kind of or how a lot of people kind of the same overlap with people who really liked A Silent Voice, and how that was kind of respectful in that regard. And yeah, it's considered a shoujo. It's not a josei. It's considered a shoujo, as labeled in the books, in the category of whatever Kodansha gave it. Yeah, there's not a lot going for it. Again, it's a romance drama with comedy elements. So like, what is there to say really? But the premise being intriguing. She goes to actually a special college that accommodates for her, which I feel like is not a lot. We don't talk. That's not something talked about. At least that's not something I feel like visibly represented a lot in Japanese media at all. We don't really see the scope of that. But at least it's not like a college dedicated to folks who are hearing impaired, but it's a college that seems very disability friendly, from what the episodes I've seen so far.
So like a good office of like accessibility.
Yeah. No, I mixed that up. She went to, like, in high school, like they referenced she went to a high school that was for the deaf, but then in college, like a lot of people around her are very like accommodating. She's like people are nice to her. Yeah, okay, so yeah, from the get go, like she's not they show no like. They don't show any acts of discrimination against her. She's navigating the world as just a person. And when she runs into any misunderstandings, it's not made as a big deal. The first episode alone that kickstarts everything into her meeting her main love interest, as she's on a train and this white guy I was a suggestion of an American character, right, in anime. He's trying to talk to her and ask her for directions, and she's like awkwardly like, "Oh my gosh, I wish to help you." She's thinking that in her head, but I don't know how to communicate with you at all. You know, this guy looks like this guy looks American. I don't know. And then, you know, the main love interest like passes on by, and then he diverts her from her, helping him out, because he speaks very fluent English. So, you know, and that's when she locks eyes with him and she becomes infatuated with him, and they soon run into each other not that long. You know, but aside from that, no, she is navigating her world as just a person. There's nothing around the premise and narrative of this anime that falls on like, disability as her only personality trait, you know what I mean? Even though it is a significant part of the concept of this series. So again, getting into the actual shoujo part though, the man, her name is Yuki, Yuki Itose, and then the man she meets is Itsumi Nagi, who, yeah, he turns out to be just this multilingual stud she runs into at the train after that awkward incident with the foreigner tourist. And turns out, yeah, he also goes to her college, and yeah, he's multilingual, so that already bridges that immediate connection with her to him. So he actually knows how to sign to her, you know, like Japanese sign language and all that. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, and that's kind of like where it goes from there. And, you know, they're meeting other characters, and it's mostly just her coming to terms with these feelings for this, you know, for each other, right? There's of course the childhood friend, which I know will be kicked to the bucket end, but we got to deal with him right now. He also knows sign language, so we got competition here. These two men know sign language and can talk to this girl up. So, but yeah, like, you know, again, it has all those tropes. And yeah, like, again, I was just ranting about it. Like, again, my favorite part of the show is that, yeah, it's not making her, you know, like, compare it to A Silent Voice, which, again, is a very, I think, generally respectful and I think important story that needed to be told. But it did revolve around the misery of the protagonist, like with her disability, you know what I mean? Being that, like, her core, like, source of melancholy, you know what I mean? Whereas here, that's not the case, you know? It's more like this is just a part of it that makes, I think, this narrative unique. Now, in terms of actual representation, the creator does not have this disability, but from my understanding, they actually did research and they like worked with consultants and yeah, like the whole 9 yards. So that's very good. But the way this is, yeah, but then it really, you know, and that I appreciate that. That's so important. But unfortunately, that element shows. I think that shows though a lot. Where like, okay, they don't have a personal experience with this, and it just kind of. When they do, like, you know, again, the animation aesthetics of the show is beautiful, generally. Like, very, very pretty show. Again, another flowery show, if you will, in a way. When she does signs, and again, I know I'm aware this is my own lack of familiarity with Japanese sign language, so I don't recognize some of the things I know. Again, not fluent in American Sign Language, but I recognize certain hands and signs from what I've seen. I feel like they're, like, again, and that's just the limitations of animation and drawing. You can't. Hands are hard. Like, there's no reason to over depict and over detail hands. When she signs, it doesn't look. I don't know if she's signing, like, it's not about accuracy, but the way she's signing doesn't feel like genuinely like that's how she should be. I don't know. Like, I'm having trouble with my own words here, but if you know what I mean, like, you know, for instance, like, you can kind of tell, like, when someone's drawing something that they know it. I don't know, like, again, like, just for anything, like, you can just kind of tell when someone is depicting an experience that they didn't have, and even though they go out of their way to, like, research and get consultation on it and firsthand accounts, it kind of still shows that they're a little detached from it. And I would say a big part of the aspect is that her character also is written to know how to lip read, which is not really, like realistic. Yeah, again, she's not, like, she could just, you know, not like a psychic, you know. And there's many people who have a hearing disability who can do that, but that's, like, not, like, it's not uncommon, but it's also not, like, a go-to thing for people to do. And it's just kind of funny to know that, especially in an animation where mouth movements are limited to 4 or 5 shapes. There's no fucking way this girl is lip reading this man saying 2 whole sentences in traditional I don't know, there's something about that aspect that makes me I don't like it kind of again, not to be like, again, we're like, we don't need to see disability suffering stories constantly, but that is just kind of like a weird thing to throw there, so she's not having such a hard struggle to communicate with all the characters around her. Like, I liked the whole tidbit that in school she has a whiteboard she carries around, or she's always writing to her best friend. But while Miho, her best friend, does have limited knowledge of how to communicate with her, and they usually just text, like, that's a nice little element added to her character where she's always carrying something to write in case people can't communicate with her. That's cool. So that's one problem. That's kind of, again, not really a problem, but just my own nitpicking about, like, okay, yeah, it kind of just feels obvious too, like, this is not
just
a
the
person
concessions of making a show and what would make it go along, right? Like,
yeah. The other interesting criticism I'm seeing about the show is, like, is the problem of the shoujo, is the shoujoisms, where these are young adult characters and they're doing the things that feel unbelievable, like in a typical shoujo, where it's like, okay, why are these adults acting the way they are? Why don't people just communicate with each other? Like, why are they weird about it? And again, I don't know if that's also like my lack of understanding when it comes to courting someone in typical like Japanese etiquette. You know what I mean? Like, people are not as forward. There's a whole thing compared to being the loud, boisterous American that would just go up to someone and saying like, hey, I like you, let's try it out, right? Like, and that's not how that works, right, in Japan, typically. But the some of the things are like, people are complaining about, it's like the main guy keeps touching her, which I agree, fucking weird. Like, what is this man doing? Like, he does the whole thing with like, he puts his huge yaoi hand on her head a lot and not bops her, but he has like a nudge on her, and that's like, that's weird in the sense of, like, they just met for a couple days. Like, if her childhood friend did that, like, if one of her pre-established friend characters, which she has, again, great, like, she just has normal friends, she's not isolated, she's not if they did that to her, that makes sense. But to the main love interest she just met, yeah, that's very much a pigeonholed, like, shoujo show. Like, ooh, wow, this guy is just invading my personal space, but it's okay because he's hot. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just like, what? Yeah, and that's kind of like one of the things floating around too. It's just like, it does things like that. That's like, this is like, we don't need to do that, right? And that goes in part where, like, unfortunately, some of the romance series we've been seeing, like, in the last couple seasons, right? My Happy Marriage, all the fucking weird, like, Beauty and the Beast iterations that I've been just watching, like, the main girl also kind of, like, she doesn't have a lot of character. And I think that's the saddest part. Again, like, it's amazing. Again, amazing. Like, her disability does not revolve around her, but then she doesn't have much else going on. There's all these vagaries of, like, in the first episode, she's narrating about, like, I want to, like, learn how to go through the world, but, like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't seem to have a clear goal in mind that carries the plot at all to go anywhere interesting beyond exploring her love with this guy, which again is okay, but that makes her, like, yeah, it doesn't make her stick out then from there, you know? It's just, yeah, she's just bland. But that's not the worst part of it, right? She's just bland, and, you know, it's like, okay. You know, like, it's exactly as it looks on the cover. If you just, like, want, like, a nice little soft romance thing, you know, you should definitely try A Sign of Affection. And again, I'm curious about that whole thing, too. Like, you know, again, thinking about, like, the discourse right now, like, because she can't hear, she does have to rely on, like, visuals and touch. So I think there could be a lot of room going on if ever that is actually challenged in regards to why does this guy keep touching her, or, like, her not really speaking up. Like, again, it doesn't show her upset about it. Like, she's into it, I think, right? But that's, I feel like that's not going to be challenged, you know? It's just something that exists as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that we're not going to see anything deep about, like, oh, well, you know, how do we communicate touch and sight, you know, when you have this one setback where you can't, you know, like, there's so many complexities and interesting conversations around consent and different forms of love and relationship, you know, circling back to, you know, it's all about love, we need love, in different ways that is not typically depicted. But I don't think I'm not holding my voice to, like, think it's gonna actually do anything deep for that, right? And that's fine, I guess.
I mean, that this is always a thing in general. It's just like there should be a more interesting way to convey or explore the various perspectives that people have in our world, you know, in that sense. And it's just like, I remember playing that Spider-Man game semi-recently, and they had a whole sequence where you play as the deaf character, and then just putting, like, emojis everywhere as interaction points felt very, like, infantilizing, almost. And that's how, like, a lot of this stuff ends up feeling. Whereas it's like, you know, you don't have to, regardless of intent, right? Like, they're just trying to, like, explore an avenue, but it's like, I don't know. You could talk to these people, is what I'm saying. Some of the stuff, it's like, maybe they have with this one, right? Like, I don't know all circumstances, but I know, like, when it came to, like, something like a silent voice and other stuff, it had some weird things similarly of, like, I hope we keep getting more shoujo, though.
Yeah.
Would like that. I've been watching this other show you've been watching. We can just finish after this. Sorry, I don't want to go too long or anything. But I've also been watching Witch and Beast that you put down here. I think it's pretty fun. I don't know. Are you caught up all the way? I think
I'm up to episode 4.
Okay. So I like...
But, I agree. It's very interesting so far. I'm sticking around for it, but I'm just like... some of the things that happen in it are like, okay, I don't know
with the
what's
witches
happening.
Especially, it's like, I don't know.
Which is the whole concept, though. That's the problem.
It's like, they have their own worlds that they've built up and are doing things, right? But it is like a thing of, like, using the iconography of, like, burning witches and stuff. It's like, okay, but, like, we should probably, like, talk about why that would actually happened in the real world, maybe. Or just... They are trying to detach it fully from that and just go in on the cool concept of it. And it's like, no, but, like, that was actually, like, a really bad thing.
Yes. Right. So the general brief on the show is that these two people are kind of, like, working indirectly with this order that's supposed to kind of keep this huge organization that's kind of trying to keep magical beings, particularly witches, in order. And they're... I don't know. I don't think it's accurate to say they're a cop organization, but there's something of that effect. Like they're kind of like watchmen in a way. And the reason these two are working with that is because they're trying to get this one guy is trying to help this young looking girl get revenge on a witch that turned her that way. She's not really a young girl. She's a man that got turned into a little girl. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on. It seems interesting in how episodic it is, doing with different cases with the supernatural and witches, and how it's impacting, like, the people of the world in this. You know, it's kind of like it's like it's an urban fantasy. Yeah, it's in a modern day setting. Yeah, which I think which I enjoy. It's in a modern day setting as well, specifically where, like, okay, the fantasy is not overwhelming the world, but it's like
it's just like Eastern
they're
European.
living. Yeah, like people are just living like among everything. But yeah, the weirdness of the show with women is just kind of like, hello, are we going to talk about this? Is kind of, the thing, as you were alluding to, right? Yeah, first of all, so going back with that, the main character is a man who turned into a girl, and he fucking hates witches. Yeah. So I'm like, if you retranslate that into a different context, that's kind of weird. Like, so all witches are women so far. You know, and the first episode too has there's just so much violence against women, unnamed women, and that, again, not a problem in a sense of like, it's just a violent dark show and that happens, and it's about, but then it's like consistently just that, you know what I mean? And it's like, especially in the bigger conversations around witches, and
I liked the second arc.
Yes, I do like this. Yeah,
with the Sari Haimi voiced woman. Who's a witch, because she's like a protagonist. I think that makes me more optimistic for where it will go and where it goes.
That's the one I really like. Yeah,
that's adding a different perspective of, like, we're not just doing like hey, these are all evil, whatever. It's just like, hey, but it's like, it's one of those things where I think every edgy series, which this is very much an edgy series, though it's not like Hellsing edgy. It is still restrained enough that it's not like I'm going to show this like absolutely insane thing to you. Really, it's just conceptually.
There were moments watching it, especially with the arc previous to that, which drove me insane.
Oh yeah,
that made me think like, no, this needs to push the envelope and be like Hellsing Ultimate.
A little more
I
crazy,
fucking...
with Shulk and everything. Yeah,
Yes!
like the two. Finding out Shulk is a real name really threw me for a loop. Let me tell you, I thought that man just existed in Smash Brothers.
Right, and we're talking about the same thing, right? Where we're like, her kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, maybe you should have gone a little more.
I was like, what's going on with the women? What's happening? Why are we doing that? And people are justified saying, like, no, they actually definitely go way more into her relationship with her family. Like, that's not supposed to have come out of nowhere like that, which makes sense. Like, I feel like these are packed, like, within 2 episodes each, these different cases, but it's just...
But I really like the opening for this show.
Yes,
so that
I agree.
I like how it does one of my favorite opening techniques of you think it's going to end like twice and then it just keeps going.
The song restarts twice. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Weirdest edit of a song for an anime opening. That was a choice they made.
I love it. I just love these. I'm just accepting it mainly because I'm like, we don't get enough dark urban fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
so it's like, woohoo. Mm-hmm. I love the main guy. He's Raven power. I love in that first episode when like people just are like, stop right there with guns, and he just like throws birds at them, and they're like, ah, and they just sort of walk away. And it's like, okay.
This fucker just carries a box on him. It's a coffin, but he just carries a box with a guy in it and just throws the man at people.
Again, more people need to learn from the school of Guilty Gear.
No, yeah, I think it's been a hot minute since we've seen like a true like you said, Boogie Pop Phantom Blade kind of really goth aesthetic. Because there has been kind of quote unquote gothic, but like really that particular grunge 2000s aesthetic, like circling back to the
Death Note changed the vibe
Phantom
to
has
some
really
emo styles. It's the emo's distinction
it's just emo.
Style stuff. Yeah, not goth.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh man. All right, I figure we can wrap it there and we can talk a bit more about some stuff next time. Sorry to keep away your manga talk, John, unless you want to get it in.
No, I very specifically listed it as if we have time. So you're good.
I was going to say, John, I saw the news. Nick and Lever are back.
They're fucking back. Holy shit.
Really?
I was losing it. Like, not only are they back, but it's getting, like, officially posted on Twitter with an English translation because the author was just like, hey, I want everyone to be able to read this, and I think they just got, like, fans to help with translating it. Like, it's just... Sure, you know what? Yeah.
Which, hey, like, good on them for just having something easily accessible like that.
Yeah. Please check out Nick and Lever. It's very fucking funny.
Yeah, here's hoping for next time I'll actually have other shows to talk about.
No, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna watch Bravern, you'll get the virus, you'll get the infection that all the Bravern likers have. Wait till you see they waterboard a mech.
Oh boy.
They have the American torture specialists come in and all they do is ever waterboard people. It's amazing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Obari has a mind.
I believe it. It's that, catching up on my winter stuff. It's all over the place.
You got it. You can do it. We have so much time.
I'll actually have more time now is the thing.
Good. Speaking of time, it's that time where we talk about the next show we're watching. And I got to pick it. And I've been wanting to watch this one for a while, so I'm making everyone watch Samurai Flamenco. The whole thing. It's like, because I think you have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you have seen it before, but it's a journey.
I've seen it one time. I think, like, in full.
All right. Oh, yeah, that works. So you understand.
Yeah.
It's a journey. But yeah, so I was looking, I think we've defaulted to just saying, like, find this where you can find it at this point, because we don't want to really get into all that mess. But I will say something that was making me mad is Funimation was killed recently, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the shows that was on Funimation and now just doesn't exist anywhere. There has been a handful of these that people have been bringing up recently. But yeah, cool. I love Monopolies. Really
Yay.
awesome stuff. So yeah, just find any way to watch this because there's literally just no normal way to.
Did you know
honestly.
Molvad VPN, not a sponsor, just a good source, literally will just ask you to mail them $5 and you'll have access for a month of that VPN?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even have to have it
recommend
consistently. Just, got something to watch for a month? Hey, mailing you my $5. All right, man. We got you.
It really is, like, not even just for those purposes, but, like, in general, like, I feel like VPNs are more and more like, you should probably go. Like, just to have normal internet speeds.
For normal internet speeds, for times that you gotta go beyond your ISP, just a lot of resources to do so. And, again, like, some of these are even just in the pocket of big ISP sometimes. So, be mindful, be a shopper. We come into 2024 very just aware of the world right now.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, check that out. And we'll get to it in time. I think I don't want to commit to any sort of schedule right now for us or anything because we are all always going through it. And I would rather us be able to get together when we can talk about things rather than when we have to. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, and see you next time on an episode of Unlimited Railworks.